Sales from, I think, the Thriller album literally saved the music industry because the album probably made about almost $1 billion. All right, so let's go ahead and play this clip from Candace Owens.
Take a listen. Record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish. That clip was from 2002. His declaration of war on the industry of people who he was alleging was intentionally stealing and selling artists short, and who he no longer wanted to work with because he wanted to be alone, who had nothing to do with these people. And as Ian said, he was fighting this war privately and he was winning. At least he was winning it in the courtroom, but as I said, the courtroom doesn't dictate wins, does it? In that measure, everything that he was doing was really all in vain, because he is now remembered as Wacko Jacko, a title that was created for him in the mainstream media that really hurt him. In fact, he sat down with Barbara Walters and spoke about how much that name hurt him. Take a listen. You should not say he's an animal. Should not say he's Jacko. I'm not a Jacko. I'm Jackson. I have a heart and I have feelings. I feel that when you do that to me. It's not nice. Now I see some of you guys in the comments right now piecing it together. Take a listen. Record.
So what she's speaking to mostly is the fact that Michael Jackson had this catalog, because Michael Jackson, I'm going to show you guys a quick video of Spencer Cornelia real quick, and Spencer Cornelia is going to break down the deal. Matter of fact, hold on, we can go in. Matter of fact, let's check this one out. Here we go.
Sony, being being the artist that I am, at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billions, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer myself would outthink them.
So what he's talking about is that deal. So I don't have the clip right in front of me. It's not really super important. We can go ahead and just talk about the clip right quick, okay? So what Michael is speaking to is, in retaliation for me leveling up, in retaliation for me trying to get some of my own freedom, right, and taking my own power back and profiting from the industry that I'm a part of, because Michael Jackson deserves to profit from music more than anyone else, especially considering that how much he's contributed to it. Also, right, black artists, it's a part of American culture for the black artists to get fucked over at the record label. It's a part of American culture for the black artists to make the best songs we ever heard in our lives, right, and not see a penny from it, right. Now, of course, TLC, they weren't writers. I understand they didn't, they had a lot of money put into them by the label, but how do you have a diamond album and the people who sung the album are all broke? God damn, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm not law abiding.
You fucking slut. I know the power of dick, bro. I get bitches.
Whoa, relax, relax, bro.
Fuck your homegirl last night.
Whoa.
Fat, bro. I put my stomach on bitches' back.
I'm sorry. I couldn't find the right sound. Shit got a little crazy. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. But anywho, famously, that has been the history in this country, right? What we saw go on is that if y'all think for a second that a company that's worth several billions doesn't have the power to put money in the pockets of media. Because I can remember when I was a young man, when I was a very young guy, and being a little guy, I was a little guy, right? It's in the 90s, right? I remember thinking like, who is Jacko? Who's Wacko Jacko? And whenever you would see a headline with Michael Jackson, it basically they would be calling him Wacko Jacko. And what they were doing was ruining his image. So I didn't know when Michael Jackson made this acquisition. He made this acquisition with Sony because he bought, I think he bought Sony's catalog or a certain catalog from Sony. Right at the time, he got the deal for 40. At that time, in 1984, he had $47 million to purchase a catalog because in his mind, right? And shout out to the guys at the Brand Man Network. They was pointing this out. They was pointing out the fact that he was thinking past music already. He said, all right, well, I can create my own IP, intellectual property, but what about purchasing other people's intellectual property? See, that takes a whole different level of business savvy, and he was thinking this way back in the 90s and 2000s and 80s and whatnot, right? And there's actually a recorded call between Michael Jackson and his father, and he's talking about this. And what's funny is Disney went on to purchase Marvel IP and make TV shows and movies based off of Marvel IP, right? So Michael Jackson was able to profit off that catalog for years to come and live off that catalog. Not only his catalog, but as well as the intellectual property in that catalog, which included the Beatles catalog. If you don't know, if you can't figure out by now, white people do not like to see niggas make a whole lot of money. Especially in the industry where white people get all the money. Because for the most part, in every music industry, the white people are getting all of the money. All right? The way it's supposed to go is that I create the opportunity. Okay? This nigga comes to sing and dance. All right? I give you some pennies and you go home. It's not designed that's not the business is not for you to be rich and famous. You can be famous, but not necessarily rich in a long-term kind of way. Right? Prince once made an address and he was saying that most artists will record albums and do music and receive a minority share of the earnings when you're anything but minor. Shout out to Prince. Great speech. In the minds of these people, you are not supposed to level up on the back of your own, how can I say, your own art? Because in their mind, they own you. And in their mind, they feel like, well, I'm your master. How dare you? I mean, without me, you can't do none of this shit. Right? And whenever these artists go against the status quo, the same thing does happen. So we see history repeating itself. Again, I never understood, like why were these people lying on Michael Jackson? Why were these kids trying to say that Michael touched them and he didn't touch them, right? All these different things that seem to be engineered against this guy, all right? And it all had to do with the paper. If he didn't have them assets, if he didn't have that catalog, he probably would have avoided a whole lifetime of pain and stress. That catalog made him a target. And you heard what he said in the beginning. Now, again, Michael Jackson is probably one of the most credible artists of all time. In terms of being genuine, in terms of being kind, and in terms of just being a motherfucking genius. Right? And I can remember one of his last albums he put out back in 2001. He was saying, my album is #1 everywhere in the world but here. What the hell was going on? I can remember back then, when I was in 9th grade, and Michael Jackson was speaking out against the record labels, continuing to speak out against the record labels and the injustice. And he was looking to get off that label. I think he pretty much was done with his deal and everything, right? And in 2009, passed away, right? And a part of what probably got Mike was the stress, because that man had a target on his back for the rest of his life. So now we see this guy Drake. So I want to go ahead and respond to let's do a reaction real quick from it's the Marlon Roby show, and I reacted to it before, but it didn't come out good, so I want to react to it again. And here we go. So check it out.
I don't know what people are thinking because I haven't really talked to many people about this, but it's not. I mean, The people have to know that his lawyer, his team, they're gonna appeal this and take this to another level.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if people know that. Like this is not. This is not over with. Like,
so, I mean, the shitty. Should we just let it go?
no, see, no,
Like,
no,
at this point,
no. Why would you? If you and your team, your lawyers had things in your possession that prove what you're saying is correct.
but why wouldn't? And I'm not saying that it depends the judge, and that's why the appeal process exists.
So yeah,
Didn't they reveal everything? Because that was also something I saw on the OVO stand side of like, nah, he purposely was trying to lose the first one so he could reveal more in the appeal. And I was like, well, why wouldn't he just?
yeah. No, I'm not.
Just give.
I'm not speaking to shit. I'm speaking to factual shit, like real things. Like I don't. This is not over with. I know people hear things getting dismissed, but like there's a whole nother level that I believe this is ready to go to. I don't think this is over. It's definitely not over here.
Yeah, I mean, I see the side of even people just being objective and aren't on this like weird fucking divider stand line of like, hey Drake, the more you do this, the more like you're adding more of like this mystique, and you're making Not Like Us the greatest battle record of all time the more you do things post the battle. Like you're putting more allure to it. Like I'm sure Not Like Us, because of this announcement, made chart this week. Just because of the announcement. Like you're adding more allure to what this battle was with these moves. And the appeal is just gonna continue that. But I also know that Drake doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I see both sides. Like
yeah, but that's a side that people see what you just said. A lot of people don't think or speak to that.
I know
like
he doesn't care.
When you don't care. Two, when you know what you know, and you know what's going on, because none of us knows Drake's business with his label. We don't know his negotiation, what he was going through with the label at the time. None of us know the specifics of that. But when you know, and your lawyers know exactly what happened and what went on, when you say just let it go, no, somebody of his caliber and his level is not going to just let that go, because they know what we all do not know. They have information that none of us have.
Okay, but then I guess I would ask, if you're Drake.
So the first thing I'm going to say is this is what I'm talking about. He never answered the question, would you let it go? So as a white man, right? If you were in court, if someone wronged you and you have proof that this person wronged you, right? Not only that, you have proof that your record label has committed a conflict of interest and tried to sabotage you, would you let it go? Because again, what Rory's trying to do is trying to make a nigga argument. That's a nigga argument because really for the most part, it's ignorant. Because for the most part, the argument, the sentiment has been, we need to just worship Kendrick. He's the you gotta realize Kendrick is a character. His character is Black Savior. So that's why people have been treating the battle as if he saved the day somehow with whack music. Like again, Black folks have a loser mindset to the point where we will take someone who doesn't really make good music and just say, all right, well, it don't sound good or sound fly because you're conscious. The conscious label is not really it's not a compliment. It mostly means that you're not able to make joints, because if someone can make really good songs, you're not going to label them. You don't need a label. It's like Kanye. Kanye kind of was considered conscious back in the day, but because Kanye had great songs, he just had records with conscious niggas. Like Talib Kweli, Common, you know what I mean? Most Def, people like that. But those is niggas that, fam, Most Def's verse on 2 words, right? That's Most Def's lane. Having a random feature and just randomly being around niggas that do rap, all right? And again, we like Most Def a cool nigga. But Most Def is not really an authority on music whatsoever. Never has been. And bro, you have no joints. I think Most Def has made a career off of being a cool ass nigga. To this day, I don't know what Most Def does. All right, and most of us can only name we know 2 Most Def songs: Miss Fat Booty, which you don't know the words to, and Umi. All right, and that nigga went from rapping randomly to singing. And again, to this day, I don't know how Most Def takes care of himself. Any of that shit. But shout out to Most Def. My man always look fly, because Most Def is always fly. All right, I don't get it, but he always fly. But I thought it was a ridiculous question, because again, the way that Rory is talking about it, he's trying to talk about it from the perspective of ignorant niggas who keep trying to make this about, this was a rap battle. No, it wasn't a rap battle, fam. Okay. When Nas and Jay went at this is over 20-something years ago. When Nas and Jay went at it, there wasn't no concerted effort to make sure that Ether was heard everywhere. Also, even though Nas was lying on Ether, he was saying a bunch of stupid shit and bullshit in the record. And also, Ether it's a terrible beat. Ether just sounds weird, honestly, and creepy, right? It's not how when you heard Takeover, right? Takeover was a dope record, was a really good beat, all right? It felt good, pause. It fit well within the scheme of things in terms of the Blueprint album. So it wasn't just this awkward, like, Ether is the track that takes itself too serious. For the most part, Ether had a certain energy around it because niggas already hated Jay and hated on Jay. The rappers hated on Jay because they weren't as successful and weren't as fly and weren't as in demand. And also they weren't as good as Hov, right? And by that point, we built up a whole stigma of, if you have records that people actually like, if you rap about money and girls and stuff like that, you are not as valid, or this whole idea of you're not hip hop. So that concept comes off of the African Bambaataa, the De La Soul, the Tribe Called Quest era, where you had that era. That was one era of hip hop, right? In terms of what they were saying, what they were doing. So hip hop was still growing. But in hip hop growing, you always have a group of people that want the old ways to come back, the old era to come back. And they're not able to accept, we're not in 1995 no more. We're not in 2000 no more. We're not in 2005 no more, right? One of the reasons why, I don't think the Clips is whack at all. I'm not going to act like I think their music is amazing, because I know what music has supposed to feel good, supposed to sound good. It's not just the intellectual pursuit, all right? But anyway, going back to the battle, the reason why it's bullshit to keep saying, oh, well, if you keep doing this, it doesn't make Not Like Us the best record ever. Not Like Us is the most publicized, most promoted diss track ever. Nas's label wasn't promoting Ether, and people was really fucking with Ether. But Nas's label wasn't promoting it. Nas wasn't performing the song nowhere, right? Nas was not at the Super Bowl. Even if Nas would have done the Super Bowl that year, right? Let's imagine that in some scenario he does the Super Bowl. He would not be doing fucking Ether. First of all, it would be corny to do your diss. Who the fuck does a diss record at the Super Bowl? He was allowed to perform a record about touching kids and making fun of somebody for touching kids at the Super Bowl like it was a joke, as if, like, he talked about Drake touching kids like he was talking about Drake peeing the bed. Oh, nigga, you peed the bed, nigga. Ha 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? Or as if it was just like the funniest thing ever. That, oh yeah, I heard you fucking with little kids. Like, we've even redefined what a PDF file is. A PDF file is a person who's attracted to minors. Minors is in someone who looks prepubescent, as in, like, they look like children. That's what a PDF file is. I understand, the example people always use is a time when Drake called a girl on stage, did not know that she was under 18, and felt super awkward about it and didn't know what to say. So he gives her a hug and a kiss on the cheek goodnight, like, all right, see you later, I guess. Here's a hug. Just trying to, kind of smooth things over. People, and again, because we're in the woke era, artists have been pulling girls on stage since there have been stages. Period. All right? Another thing, too, about the whole age thing is, why is there age of consent? Not only that, in high school, right? If you're a young guy, most young guys can remember a girl that was hot, a girl that was attractive, having boyfriends that had cars and boyfriends that did not go to that school. Okay? It wasn't uncommon for you to hear her boyfriend old as hell. All right? And I'm not saying it's okay, I'm not saying this, but this whole concept of when girl that's not 18 is is a baby, even though these same girls be first of all, first I want to say this. Why did men? Okay, we'll start here. After the R. Kelly thing, right? After the R. Kelly thing, men had to start checking IDs. Why is that? Because young women wanted to be in these clubs, wanted to be around these grown ass men. So a girl could get all dolled up, put on grown woman clothes, get a fake ID, and come to the club. She can meet a rapper that same night, whatever, right? And they can get busy. And he don't know he just slept with a 16-year-old because she told him she was 18, 19. Now, and that probably still goes on. Young women have always wanted to seem more mature and be around grown men. I'm not saying necessarily that's a thing that I would do or that I'm doing and whatnot, but this whole idea, and for the most part, it's just it's selective outrage. They also refer to Billy, what's her name? Bobby Brown. Sorry, what was I think? Millie Bobby Brown. Sorry, the girl from Stranger Things. She said, yeah, like Drake will text me. I think saying like encouraging her or giving her advice. I don't know why they texting and whatnot, but the girl didn't say that he invited me over, that Drake touched me, that Drake. No one's ever said that. Y'all hate this nigga to the point. First of all, since Drake has been on the scene, you have had media trying to paint him as this or that. You had Charlamagne built a whole goddamn career out of hating on Drake. Because Charlamagne became popping and viral because of his wild takes. And one of his takes was he hates how Drake sings. Drake is like this and that. But for the most part, just doing this colorism shit. Because colorism is only valid for dark-skinned people. Colorism is not valid for light-skinned people whatsoever. Because in the mind of a dark-skinned person, the light-skinned person has the most advantage. They're seen as superior. They'll love more, this and that. When that's not really true, because within the black community, people are most attracted to light-skinned people a lot of times. Especially women. Women will love your light-skinned ass because you're the closest they're going to get to a white guy. But you will always be facing this passive aggressiveness from especially darker-skinned people. Okay, and I always tell y'all it's the hierarchy in the black community, and dark-skinned niggas always feel as though they have the highest Negro credit, and at some point you sign a shit-eating contract where you will tolerate their bullshit. I mean, meaning that they can be aggressive with you, they can be demanding of you, they can be grimy with you, they can be dishonorable with you, and it's all good because they have their own rules. That's some bullshit. But overall, Rory didn't answer the goddamn. My bad.
Good look.
Rory didn't answer the goddamn question. Would you let it go? Also, again, if Drake has gotten this, for matter of fact, even how Drake did his deal, Drake actually owns his music actually. He owns his shit, or at least a good chunk of it, right? The record industry now Charlamagne has spoken this before. The industry hates Drake because they cannot control Drake. They cannot muscle Drake. Not only that, Drake is needed. Drake is always in demand. Record labels don't like that shit. And the general public knows record labels are not pro artists, but somehow y'all have let, for one, this goddamn industry plant, because Kendrick is definitely an industry plant. I mean, when I was younger, I was thinking, why is Lady Gaga on this song with Kendrick Lamar? Or why was she on the original track? Like, what? Why is Lady Gaga tweeting about Kendrick? I remember her. I never forget this tweet. Lady Gaga tweeted, Kendrick, when's your album coming out so I can go back to the club? And I'm over thinking, like, what fucking song would you play in a club by Kendrick Lamar? I mean, get me wrong. I mean, I like Kendrick because I was younger and I was coming out of like, all right, when you're younger, you're more into that because you got to realize that the rapidy rap shit is our era. And Kendrick was dope because Kendrick had interest in like instrumentals. Like the instrumentals on like Section 80 and Damn. That's the best Kendrick. I mean, be real with you. When I first heard Good Kid, Mad City, I didn't think it was bad, but I remember thinking like, I had to get into it. I had to kind of like listen and keep listening, so I thought I was good. Now, mind you, albums are supposed to have 3 or 4 tracks that you really like. If it's a good artist who makes good music, there should be 3 or 4 songs that you really gravitate towards, and then the rest of it, you start liking it more and more as you start hearing it and you get to know the songs. Because not every good album sounds amazing the first time you hear it. Okay? My favorite album of the year, Some Sexy Songs for You. I'm sorry. I get bitches. I'm sorry. I'm a handsome guy. I drive a nice car. I'm sorry. I want to hear some fly shit in my car. I love that fucking album. All right? Because it's easy to play, easy to listen to. It has replayability, like I said before, right? And also the shit they're talking about. I can relate to that more. Kendrick is not fucking relatable. Kendrick, he don't be saying shit. All his bars are kind of like lyrics for the sake of lyrics, and they're not really. Kendrick, for the most part, the verses that y'all can really say I love from him, that's because the song is good. It's because the song is good. Like, let's say Wesley's Theory, which these are songs I don't play anymore because I don't relate to it anymore. I don't, because you gotta realize that around that time, right? Everything at the Good Kid, Mad City was like this whole I'm super pro black. I'm dressing weird. I'm wearing my hair in these nasty ass braids and shit. It's trying to like look as ethnocentric as fucking possible. And I guess the best way to put it was like Kendrick literally became the fucking Black Panther. Super duper race hustler to the goddamn max. But anyway, let's play some more of this.
Lawyers lose cases. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. If you have all the stuff that we don't know, why did you go with that approach of the defamation lane? And the judge was clearly like, nah, this is a rap battle. No one actually believed this. You also said in one of the songs to call you a pedophile. Like, is this Drake's lawyers making a grave mistake?
He's making reference to the Heart Part 6 where Drake says, I'm way too famous for what you just suggested. Basically saying that I'm too famous to ever even do anything like that. That does not mean you can. All you have to do is just go online. That's all you got. Matter of fact, fuck it. Hold on. Let's go ahead. Let's scroll up real quick. Y'all had AI Drake chasing little girls. Check this one out. Pedos. Let's see. Hold on. What else we got? Hold on. I got some, because you know from time to time, right? I will save these tweets of people calling Drake a pedo. Let's see if I can. Let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to find one. But whenever you see any post about Drake and stuff like that, especially in reference to Kendrick, people throw the pedo thing out there, a PDF file thing out there, so this willy nilly, as if like, no, it's just a fact. Like, bro, like here we go, boom. what can a pedophile do? You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy argument. A crazy argument. You know what I mean? And Matthew, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and scroll back down, because I want to make sure they finish the conversation, because we're almost done. But if you go in any comment section, you'll see PDF file, you'll see reference to it, because for the most part, people knew they couldn't really argue that Kendrick is bar. I'm sorry, Kendrick's raps is okay, bro. I'm a battle rapper, bro. I don't hear nothing profound when he rapping. Like, he's not really saying shit. I'm not impressed with Kendrick. All right, people more so do this shit where if you're popular, it's not because you're very talented. It's because of something, which is, again, it's some loser shit. That's how a loser thinks, because again, the people who came up with them damn narratives are people who didn't get girls in high school, but they became hip hop bloggers later on. Anthony Fantano, right? And naturally, if you're an undesirable guy, you're gonna have a chip on your shoulder about guys who can't get girls, and it's hard to deal with the fact that, yo, you're just not him. Some guys just have that about them, where some guys are him and some guys just are not interesting. They're just not attractive. They're just not able to wear the right clothes. They have the right attitude to change their image. You know what I mean? Like, listen, a lot of niggas out there won't even buy new clothes. I mean, you won't even advance your style at all. You want to fucking dress like it's goddamn 2010. Listen, guys around my age, a lot of guys around my age, yo, you have some guys, and you always can tell where a guy's at mentally by how he still wants to dress. And not that I'm dressing like super like advanced, nothing like that, but I got different looks though. You know what I mean? When girls see me, like, they don't feel as though I'm trying to dress as though I'm in my early 20s, or I'm still dressing like it's 2010 or 2012. Like, no, man, I don't own any fucking graphic t-shirts. You understand? Anyway, like, listen, even this shit with people trying to compare Denzel Curry with Drake. Somebody wrote, why is Drake versus Denzel Curry a thing on my timelines beyond me? But Drake stands bragging about not knowing who Denzel Curry is. It's not the flex that they think it is. First of all, let's go ahead and let's scroll down real quick. I'm sorry. See if I can find this post. So, I'm not here to diss Denzel Curry. I think I've heard him before. Pretty cool kid. I think that what he does is interesting and stuff like that. And he is talented, right? The reality is this. if you're not the kind of artist that can be featured on a record and take the record from ground zero to charting or being relevant, you're not him. If people have never been tapping your shoulder to come with features and ask you to be on their records and stuff like that, the interest is not there. I don't know any Denzel Curry songs because you haven't had any viral songs, bro. I'm just saying, no diss to him. I'm sure he's a really talented cat. That's not the same as people who actually get streams. We can't do this shit of this. People try to convince you that Drake is not relevant. Drake has had the biggest streaming year he's ever fucking had. He has more streams this year than he's ever had. Kendrick has been losing streams and listeners all fucking year because of the fucking purges on Spotify. Meanwhile, Drake's numbers have stayed the same. Anywho, let's play a little more of this and we're going to go ahead and be out, man.
Information.
Well, how many days ago did they ask for the discovery?
Doesn't know.
And for your deal with Universal.
I think that
like I said, they should have revealed the stuff that we don't know.
Yeah,
That's
the information that, like, people keep saying there's information that the general public doesn't know. Well, I would assume that if there's information that's pertinent to this ruling or the lawsuit, it should be in the paperwork, and we all have the paperwork. So that's why it's like, what is this magic 8-ball information?
Well, how many days ago did they ask for the discovery? It wasn't. It was what, maybe 2 weeks ago? Maybe.
October 9th, 2020. Oh no, yeah. What did you say? Push for unredacted.
Because even like while watching,
So it wasn't that long ago.
You know, even not even the theories, but of the third party that they claimed was hired to bot, not like us, that worked with Universal and worked with apparently PG Lang. Like all of, like, where is all that stuff? Like at this point now, it just feels like it's just like Twitter rumors. Because we knew that to be true.
Yeah, I mean, do y'all hate yourselves? Do these niggas hate themselves? I'm like, bro, this is a stupid. Listen, I know this is a show. I've come to understand that, you know what? You can't have content if you both are sitting there agreeing on the exact same page. Someone has to play devil's advocate in order for it to be interesting. So I get it. I'm assuming this is content. We're not gonna have this conversation as if this judge understands battle rap or watches any fuck. That judge did not fucking watch Hitman Holler versus Murder Mook. That judge did not see Loaded Lux versus New Jersey Twerk. That judge did not see Loaded Lux versus Calico, which is one of the most famous battles on URL TV ever. That judge does not know who Sue Surf is. A majority of the people who weigh in on this battle, especially people who are outside the culture, who spoke on it, you don't watch battle rap. Saying, yo, you fuck kids is not a go-to in battle rap. But anyway, it's late. All right, I want to go ahead, you know what I mean, go ahead and cover this real quick.
Do you see the light bill?
You see the light bill, my nigga?
Who are these niggas?
All right, man, we out, man. Subscribe to the channel.